Hey guys, it's me, MimicJack24 here. As today I've mentioned before that, well, today's my 1000th video. So, in plans for uploading it, I did actually list out a few things I'm going to do. However, due to the fact that I kind of enjoy watching Salmonella, plus I have a perfect video to watch. The top 10 worst animal skeletons by the Salmonella Academy. However, I do want to state one thing. This is my 1000th video, and I am grateful for all of you for your support among these ways. And for my 7th anniversary, when it comes time, I'll make a video on it, and I'll explain practically everything why I'm more thankful, but this is more of just a celebration of the amount of videos I made, and I thought it would be a bit fun to go back and watch some more Salmonella because, well, I love Salmonella, since it was one of the main few things I enjoyed watching throughout the pandemic at the very beginning. I watched nearly all of them, so I ran out of it by, I would say, the second month in quarantine. However, I do want to mention before I start this video, all of the copyright once again belongs to Sam Nell Academy, which, Sam, I'm making no claims on your video, because, well, I'll link your channel and original video in the description, because, well, bud, I miss you too much, and people, come over to Sam's channel, subscribe, like the videos, comment down below, and keep encouraging him to make more, because, well, people seem to actually really enjoy it across the internet, and I don't blame them. But anyways, so this video is mainly 13 or 16 plus, mainly because it includes some mild swearing in it. Yes, it includes the F word a few times, and also possibly some horrifying imagery in it. So just be aware of that, and possibly once again, this material is uncomfortable to people under the age of 13. But, however, this is still uncomfortable stuff, even for an early teenager, so I advise you that viewer discretion is advised. However, continuing watching this video is up to you, and I've done my part of saying that if you guys are uncomfortable with it, well, I mean, you guys should have clicked off of it, because I'm giving you this warning now. Anyways, Sam, let's begin. Let's begin this, and I'm sorry, Sam, but I won't play your full ad at the end. But anyways, let's get this on. Once again, all the copyright belongs to you, Sam. Let's begin.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Hey kids, as we all know, the evolution of species is an incredible process, driven by little more than the random chance that certain mutations may happen to provide a practical advantage in a creature's environment.
Out of portions of evolution, that is true. However, what he said is more of natural selection, which is more of a specific shortened type of evolution, but nothing really to be too obsessed about with the semantics, because roughly evolution does have that same role. However, there's more of like a long term driving force, where natural selection's more of like a short term force. Anyways, let's continue.
As a result, there's a lot of things out there that look super dumb once you strip back a few layers. Here's the top 10 worst animal skeletons of all time. So first and foremost, I'd like to settle a little debate I've been seeing floating around the past few weeks. Yes, penguins do, in fact, have knees. But in order to hide full-grown legs into one plump cylinder, you gotta have a little skeletal trickery on your side. You guys ever do wall sits in gym class or else?
I have done that in the past. I can safely say it's not my favorite thing. However, I have always considered doing planks to be even worse than the wall sits for one reason. I can never seem to keep myself in a straight line.
Where one of the most torturous exercises out there. I now feel even worse for penguins, because not only did they have to deal with living in a frigid black and white hellscape, the most hostile environment known to man second only to the vacuum of space, all the while constantly pursued by ravenous bloodthirsty sea dogs, but they're also secretly doing wall sits their entire life. Quick side note, in Mandarin, the word for penguin consists of the characters for business
abbreviation. Not going to be able to do that, but it means enterprise. Oh.
Which is fucking hilarious. Like one day a goose put on a suit and said, "Today it is time to make a name for myself, honk." This next guy is known as Parsons chameleon, found in the more remote regions of Madagascar. Notice the fleshy protuberances around its nose.
Why do I have the feeling that, since it's been a while since I've seen this video, but I know for a fact, yeah, that's the lightly skinned bone, if I've ever seen one. Bones typically can also protrude from the skin without having, like, flesh on it. It's one of those rare sequences that happens a lot more with lizards than anything else.
Turns out, not fleshy, not even remotely fleshy, not even one flesh. Instead, it just has a skull forever frozen in time in the middle of exploding, like it sneezed right in the middle of God shaping it out of clay, and he was just like, whatever, it's a feature now. So for that, this rough-headed reptilian gets number 9. Normally I would have ranked it higher, but that's a dope tale, so he gets...
I mean, to be honest, yeah, that is a cool tale.
Pity points. Next is the pufferfish. So for most of my life, I've pictured pufferfish as just not having any bones. I know it doesn't really make sense, but neither does them turning into a balloon like a goddamn cartoon.
I mean, I do agree there. However, I mean, I would have always considered them having, like, cartilage skeletons, similar to, like, what sharks have. Since, well, sharks, have been around for hundreds of millions of years, and they really only have their jaws and teeth really being the only fossils we find of them. So yeah. And plus, they do have cartilage skeletons and cartilage bones. So I've always assumed when I was younger, pufferfish and blowfish do indeed have that, but now, since after I've done a bit more research and after watching this, like, let's see, about 3 years ago, actually 3 years and a few months ago, anyways.
Out in their normal state, they actually look like this, and when they inflate, those concentric rings of spine slide outwards past one another to cover the full area, like the aperture of a camera lens expanding to cover the full frame of the fish. The sheer ingenuity of this design has shattered my childhood dream of real-life balloon animals, which is earned...
I mean, real-life balloon animals always seemed like a weird concept to me.
Pufferfish, the number 8 spot on this list. Now, if you've gotten around to certain zoological circles, you've been shown this skull and been told, yes, that comes from the dwarf elephant. Oh, you've never seen one? That's because, they're extinct. And that thing in the middle? Yes, nothing more than the nose hole to which the trunk connects.
Which, for those that don't know, he's about to go on a bit of a rant, but yeah, effectively, this is actually the dwarf elephant skull, which I kind of find hilarious that he's going to try to convince us it's not that.
However, if you're a rational, free-thinking adult like me, you can look past the lies spoon-fed to you by Nat Geo and other liberal media outlets and see this for what it is. A cyclops. Next...
I mean, I like how he does that.
This is the orca, otherwise known as the killer whale, the panda torpedo, or the SeaWorld slip. It's...
Hold on.
This is the orca, otherwise known as the killer whale, the panda torpedo, or the SeaWorld.
Pretty much all 3 of those names are quite active and accurate. However, the only thing that I would call a bit funny is that originally orca was supposed to mean whale killer, but somehow in like the past few hundred years or so, humans have mixed up the position of that, so now it just enters in killer whale. Even though that, well, I mean, if you guys don't know, orcas are one of my favorite animals ever that is still alive, but pretty much, an orca is actually a part of the oceanic dolphin family and is more closely related to dolphins than any types of whales, believe it or not.
Slave. Its skeleton is fairly normal at first glance, but check out this little thing under here. That little bony blip is actually all that remains of the legs and pelvis of the orca from when it evolved from land mammals. Personally, I think that's highly disrespectful to their ancestors. Like, they could have taken the seal route and
Yeah, the seal route wasn't really their strategy. I mean, they did use it when they were first evolving into that, but that really went away like a long time ago. I'm talking about like at least uh, a couple of tens of thousands of years, maybe.
his legs for good in the water. But instead, these sea cowards said, no thanks, we're gonna undo all that evolution and just be bigger, smarter, warmer fish again. But hey, we'll keep this little piece of nothing just to remember you guys by. Truthfully, I could have chosen almost any cetacean to
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, hold on. Suborder, baleen whale, this other stuff. Often day and shades of gray, killer ant. Yeah, pretty much in short, all of these creatures here do have a small pelvis bone still in them, however, not attached to their skeletons, which I find sad, but hilarious. Oh yeah, and here are the river dolphins, I believe. And yes, I recognize the sign of my beautiful orca pal. And yes, I'm aware that orcas are the ocean's worst, what do you call it? Predator. By worst predator, I mean their best apex predator, but by worst, well, I mean if you were literally any other creature in the ocean other besides an orca, and you encounter an orca, well, let's say it's not going to end so well for you. Actually, depending on the type of orca that happens to encounter another orca, it might not end so well for them either. So, anyways, let's continue.
on for this, but the orca's face also reminds me of SCP-682.
Which, believe it or not, that SCP-682 was actually a washed up beluga skeleton, or it could have actually been a washed up orca skeleton. One of the two. One of the two, but to be honest, I actually never fully got around to seeing the SCP thing. However, I do hear that was a popular internet thing, but I'll check it out at some point. I'll be like 30 years late to the party or something.
Is the most OP overrated shit out there, so he gets the number 6 spot. Moving on, now bear with me here. In every other mammal on Earth, the canine teeth point downward, from the gum to the mouth. You know, like a tooth. But this guy, known as the Babirusa, said, "Huh," and decided to have them grow up through the entirety of its fucking snoot and out the other end, which is the most nonsensical thing
I do have to admit, that is nonsensical if you ask me. Why would the creature want more pain to itself? Ooh.
I've ever seen. Like, toenails out the front? How cliche. Let's make him go through the whole foot instead. Look, no.
Oh, why? Why did you give that image? Ooh. I mean, I understand what you're trying to demonstrate, but oh boy, that just looks painful.
Kid good behind me. That's not all though. These tusks also keep growing for the creature's entire life, which isn't a problem in and of itself, right? Rodents, they keep chewing stuff to wear them down. Alligators, they just let them fall out now and then. But the Babirusa is like, I'll just nut in a lady pig long before this becomes an issue. So if it lives long enough, the teeth can curve right on around and slowly bore into the thing's face, like built-in Chinese bamboo torture. And occasionally, they can end up actually piercing the
Pretty much I'm just gonna read some of this stuff. Pretty much for the most part, that this only happens in rare cases. Normally they'll just curve back the other way harmlessly. But, I can only imagine that this Barbarossa really didn't enjoy that. I can say that for sure, but Sam isn't wrong when they said that their plan is literally just to make offspring and and just weaved offspring off to their own stuff before that they die, so, that's an issue.
Skull and shish kebabbing the brain. Now, some people might say that this doesn't belong on this list, given that teeth aren't technically bones. And to those people, kids, we say, eat shit and die.
I mean, that is true. True, that we do say that. And, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Teeth are considered bones, if you did not know, which is why that's even... And also, for those that don't know, fossils, even fossilized teeth, are considered bones of animals. Which, that's quite good. And thank you, Sam. I actually know all three of these sources, but Sam, you're not wrong when you say that.
So we have the octopus. The octopus skeleton is so bad that it doesn't even exist. Sure, they got this little thing in the middle, but that doesn't count, that's just chitin. And yeah, they can get in a jar or whatever, but at what cost? At the animal picnics, the crowd shouts, "Bleh, shun the spineless freak!" And at the animal wheelbarrow races, with nothing to grab hold of, the cephalopod holds a solitary vigil at the starting line, and lo, the octopus wins naught but a participant medal at the Grand Prix, and the number 4 spot on this list. Moving on, here's the skeleton of a fruit bat. Now,
first of all, I've always forgotten that bats have those skeleton fingers. But before Sam goes on a rant, typically whenever people discover something like this, even when they discovered the first pterosaurs, even with the long fingers, since for those that don't know, pterosaurs actually do have fingers, very tiny. One of them just happens to be long for that, but pretty much they've always assumed like there is a skin gap in between, which by skin gap I mean like something that would have resembled like a wing or something in there. Which I think that what most people would have probably assumed it would look like if they've never seen it before, but, estimates would be hard to tell, but then again, who knows?
not a big deal to us regular folk, but imagine if humans had no context of bats and they dug this thing up. Like, class, archaeologists have recently found these fossilized remains, and you...
Sam, I'm about to shame you. Archaeologists dig up, well, more accurately, they dig up most of human history. Really, the people that would be finding this, although it is proven from time to time that archaeologists accidentally discover, creatures and skeletons, but I'm just saying that the actual term for people that, spend their life, studying and digging up creatures from the past are called paleontologists. They don't only exist just for the dinosaur era. They exist for all time eras of Earth, even present. Anyways, let's continue.
modern technology, we can see exactly what it would have looked like back when it was alive. This abominable creature...
For some odd reason, I wouldn't be surprised, but oh boy. That doesn't look right. Oh. I mean, I guess that would make sense, but oh boy, it's been a while since I've seen this. Oh, that thing is just horrifying. Is like just creeping me
known
out.
only to scientists as Finger Boy, and is theorized to have fed upon fruit.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm not going to call it that. But let me actually go back for a sec.
Abominable creature is known only to scientists as Finger Boy, and is theorized to have fed upon fruit, insects, and the dreams of orphans, which it would...
I mean, fruits and insects are part of a bat's diet. However, for some bats, blood is a part of their diet, but that's really only some, not all. But the dreams of orphans, that depends.
out from the ears of the errant little waifs whilst they slumbered. By the way, if you Google image bat skeleton, like, more than half of them have the ears built in. Just like, I feel the extraordinarily bat-like wings and figure of our decoration are much too subtle for our consumers. Better slap these on. At number 2, we have...
I mean, what's really odd is that whenever people show bat skeletons, Why do they include the ears? The ears are cartilage. They're cartilage, like how our noses are cartilage, and why that our skeletons don't show us having, like a snozzer or like a snoz.
The anteater. From its oboe-like skull to its gorilla fist and hands, one can only wonder who.
I mean, I'm just going to say this outright. Any anteater is strong enough to, what do you call it, one slice of those claws, and let's just say you're going to be bleeding a long time, maybe to death. Because those claws are strong enough to crack open stuff strong as concrete, and you don't want to fight an anteater since, well, they live in the Amazon and in South America, where their primary predators are, giant big cats and, mainly the jaguar and the caiman. So most likely, yeah. And since they're pretty near blind, and considering that these are the only animals that jaguars will be extremely cautious when they're trying to hunt, because, well, one swipe from these boys and from those claws, and, jaguars no longer in business.
This creature exists. Fun fact, if you take the anteater's skull and blow into its nose, it plays a beautiful song recounting the animal's entire life, and then security escorts you out of the museum. Look.
Aw, I would have liked to have seen what the anteater's life would have been like. But getting escorted out of a museum does actually seem like a pretty boring thing.
This, I can only pose the question asked for generations long before my own. That being, why the long face?
I could give you the scientific answer, but no. No, I'm just going to enjoy that dad joke and leave that in.
We get to the number 1 spot, here's a few honorable mentions. The wolf eel.
Oh. For starters, oh my goodness, so many spines. Oh.
The ostrich.
Hold on, wait, what? They forgot to include the tiny wings that ostriches have.
This human-cat hybrid I found on a tabloid site.
I'm not going to consider that even remotely canon in any of the skeletal remain stuff.
And of course, the mermaid. So
Oh, the manatee. Perfect.
Number 1 spot, we have this creature. That's supposed to be a mirror. I know most of you can't see yourself in it on account of your filthy Dorito-smeared screen, so just...
I don't eat and smear stuff on my screens, plus I never eaten chips really too much. I do eat them, but it's like a very rare thing for people to see me do. Like, any of my friends can confirm that they really haven't seen me eat chips at all.
No word for it. So what's wrong with humans, you ask? Well, a lot of things, but for now, let's...
Hold on, wait, what? What? Wait, what? No. I do not read any of that at the bottom. And it's gross, too fat, but then again, people are their own person, but fattening a person that really isn't part of it, that seems quite bad. And is that a Confederate furry? Oh boy. That ain't good.
The scalp.
I'm saying because of it being a Confederate, not because of the furry portion, because, well, as an American, I can safely say the Confederacy is nothing more than just one thing that, that I will never support because, well, they tried dividing up this nation, and old Abe had to send in Grant to fix that nation during a long civil war.
First off, these bones right here, these are known as the metatarsals. All part of the foot, right? No, that's a bunch of primate propaganda.
He's not wrong, considering that primates are quite weird with their feet. considering the fact that what he's about to reveal next is actually going to be quite shocking to most people. But anyways, I'll let it play out.
In most other groups of land mammals, what we'd consider our ankles is actually the quote-unquote knee of the animal. Thanks a lot, walking.
And for those wondering, the knee of most animals are actually right about here. Here where my mouse is, but roughly it's like where the belly meets the leg, you know? That's typically where their knee is. Or in some cases, it's a tiny bit above.
Right? Also, it's estimated that around 80% of people will experience chronic back pain at some point in their life. Thanks a lot, walking upright.
Agreed.
Lastly, probably something you've heard about at some point, our skull to pelvis ratio.
Oh boy. The place is simple, even though that technically female humans have a different pelvis shape and a skeleton structure wise than male pelvic structures. It's roughly the same with only a few minor differences, but regardless, we're one of the few animals that, have to give birth earlier, otherwise, we can't get out of the womb.
Animals, giving birth, not a big deal. Small heads, wide hips, mazel tov. But
Agreed.
the big brain on bread throws a real monkey wrench in the works there. For
Got it.
a while, it led to some problems till those extra brains figured out how to work around it. So I guess
I mean, that is true. We did figure it out, really, on how to keep it at least actually a lot better. So, and yes, he's not wrong. Like roughly around like the 1920 era or like late 1910s, we did start figuring out a solution. However, the main stuff that we did figure out all was really during like about I would say a tiny bit prior to World War II, but roughly in that time span.
win this round, humans, but that doesn't stop you from also winning the #1 spot on the worst skeletons of all time. But hey, just because you'll forever be flawed on the inside doesn't mean you can't improve yourself on the outside. That's why you need to try.
I'm sorry, Sam, but I can't let you play your ad. As much as I would like to give you money for this, well, currently I'm a channel that really isn't being paid by YouTube at all, and plus, most likely, if I was, a lot of it would be going to a lot of other creators that I've reacted to. So, for the time being, I will have to say, for now, I can't let you play your ad. But once again, I'm glad to see you around. Also, once again, all the copyright belongs to Sam and Noah, and anyways, if you guys had fun, leave likes and comments down below. Tell me if you would like to see this style of video continued. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.